You gotta understand it. Look, sometimes you gotta just go there. You gotta just go there. Unselfish Behavior Podcast. Now, this is a very special episode. You understand what I'm saying? Be visuals. I might gotta take my jacket off. I might gotta calm down. Why? Because two things is going on right now. First and foremost, it's a special edition. Why? Because you here. And second of all, y'all see the aesthetics. It's December, and it's gonna be damn sure December to remember. Y'all gotta understand what we're doing. The Unselfish Behavior Podcast. We are here. We are here. We are here with the one, the only. She goes by the name of Jaz in the building, aka BrownRich, man. Listen, you gotta understand. You got my sister in the building. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Come on, man. Come on, it's an honor. Come on, it's an honor and a privilege. And you know, in the Unselfish Behavior Podcast, we always like to start off by saying, this is a guest-based podcast to where we look to have guests on here from the city of LA. Why? Because that's the best damn city in the world. If y'all didn't know, then now you know. You got to understand it. I ain't speaking Spanish. You got to understand what I'm saying. Look. So look, we always like to allow our guests to draw inspiration and empowerment and motivation through the stories of those ones that's actually making moves in the city. And you are by far more than qualified.
Come on.
It's more than qualified to represent the city of LA. So I'm super excited to have you, Jaz. What's been going on with you? You know, what's going on? How you feel?
You know what? I'm real lit right now. I'm really excited. Like all day, I just like having the jitters. Yeah, man, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to talk, and I can talk anybody ear off. And I'm super excited.
Well, listen, I've been known to talk a few ears off. The visuals, you gotta understand. That's what I do. You know, so I'm super excited because I know that you are a conversationalist, but beyond that, you have such a broad perspective. You are an advocate for us. And if y'all don't know who we are Black. We are culture. You got to understand it. So we're going to talk about that. We got a true representative here. You know, women's empowerment. Obviously, you're into dance. You just got back from tour. But before I start asking questions, I want to allow you the platform to be able to let the ones who don't know you, not familiar with who you are, let them know who you are, a little bit about what you do and what you stand for.
Well, my name is Jocelyn, aka BrownRich. Okay, but Jocelyn froze my name.
Yeah.
I'm from Carson, Compton, Long Beach. I say that because I went to school in Carson. I went to school in Long Beach as well, lived there, and then Carson, Compton, and Carson, Compton. Yeah, same. Okay.
Come on.
Went to school. And I'm a professional dancer, and I have danced all over the world, danced with a lot of people. I love it. It's cool, but I have my hand in a lot of different things. I'm a preschool teacher. I love kids. I love the fact that they are our future, and I feel like we got to put on for them. You know what I mean? Got to be there for them. And like I'm ready. I'm lit. I just love to talk. I love to learn. I love to educate. So I'm here to do it. You look I'm so excited.
I ain't playing with you. We here. Now we're gonna jump right into it right now. You passionate about the kids. Your main man, King Q, is very passionate about the kids. We're going to jump right into that for the first topic. I work with kids. I've been working with kids now for a few years, I would say. About 3-4 years, I've been working very directly with kids in the inner city in particular. One thing that I notice is that the need for representation for the children in our communities. I understand that my job, and I'm sure you feel the same way, my job and my obligation in regards to having a gift that is powerful and that can touch people's lives, a huge part of that gift and that mission is to make sure that I'm giving to the kids, giving them game, giving them tools that I wish somebody would have gave me growing up in the hood my whole life. Why are you passionate about the kids, and how do you think you can most effectively give to them?
So I feel like it was a process. So like it started off with me just like loving kids, and then so I was like, okay, obviously whatever I go to college for is gonna be like kid based. So then I go for child development. I started learning about like all the things that kind of like come with it, and like that it's like about parents and like the environment that they're in. And then you start looking into, it's just way deeper than people, you know, imagine, than it just being like, oh, I just need like a little job working with kids or whatever. So then once I got there, I worked in Inglewood at Children Enrichment Center. I love it so much. Shout out to Miss Gloria.
Hey, Miss Gloria, you out there? Stop playing with it.
And I worked there for 5 years. Nice. And side note, they were like allowing me to like tour every year and like do all my jobs and everything. And parents knew, kids knew, like it was really dope. But I started working for them, and I started to see like how important it was to be like a Black teacher with like Black kids, and even have kids of like other races and ethnicities there. It was dope. So then I started to go back and talk to kids at like Poly. That's where I went, Long Beach Poly.
Yep.
And when I was talking to them, I realized that the things that I didn't have when I was in high school, like I didn't come from like anything like too rough or like, it was like, oh, I didn't know how I was going to eat. Like I didn't come from that type of background. But college was something new, and it was something that like my household didn't really know about. And so I had teachers and stuff that were like, they were helping me like stand with me after school and like everything like that. Yeah. And so then I realized that I had to do the same thing. And I didn't realize how important it was to be Black and to be like tatted and like to have short hair and piercings and just like being your own person, but still able to get a message across to these kids. Yeah. So I started to go talk to them, and then I realized like when they would talk to me about like, oh, I want to be a rapper, right? Or I want to be like an NFL player or whatever. I'd be like, okay, that's cool, but I'm gonna challenge you. If you feel the need to go to college still, because I don't push anybody nor force anybody to go to college. If you feel the need to go to college, do something that has to do with your profession that you want to do. If you're going to be a rapper, go to school for business or for like engineering or something. If you want to be an NFL player, NBA player, go for business so you could buy that goddamn team. Like, it's not a, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit deeper than just like, I just want to instill in them that you can do more than just that. And that's more than enough. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's still good. Yeah. But I just feel like you need to have a more of an open mind with it. Yeah. Simply because we have more working against us. Right. And so I just feel like for me, I just needed to be involved like as much as I can. And I still feel the burn and the desire to do it now. Yeah. I feel like I haven't been doing as much as I could or that I can because of the fact that I'm still in the industry. Yep. So I go when I can. Like I did my career day for the first time. Nice. And that was one of the most rewarding, like dope days of my life. Nice. And the school sent me letters that all the kids wrote. And they were like, I didn't even know I could be a professional dancer. And I want to be one like you. And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. But it was really dope. Yeah. So I just realized like the influence that I have. And I also realized that people are a little bit more drawn when they feel like they can relate. I'm not gonna walk in there with like a suit or nothing on because for one, that's not me. Yep. And two, if I'm walking into an inner city school, I need them to understand that I'm not faking to work with you. I really know, you know what I'm saying? I really understand. I really know the struggle that you're gonna deal with being a Black individual here and like all these things. So like I want you to know that you can talk to me, and I want to give you the game that nobody, like you said, gave to me. There we go. So just like making sure that like they know what like EOP and like how you can get money for college and like all this stuff. Like there's so many things. Yeah. So many things. So it's so important. Yeah, just trying to get my hand in the community. And I feel like what I want to do is just kind of like push into like deeper inner city. Yeah. So I feel like Compton High is gonna be a little tricky because of all the renovations and stuff going on. Yep. So I'm gonna just try to go somewhere around there until they like get it together and it's not so much of like in the radio and kind of thing, because then I don't want them to get lost in that. Right. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I want to do, a little bit more of. But that's what, so far I've just been kind of like giving back, being a teacher, just realizing how important it is. Love it.
While you're talking, I'm thinking about my childhood. And I'm thinking about what I see and what I witness at these schools that I work at. Now, I was working at a school called Resolute Academy in Watts. I'm also currently working at a school called Kelso Elementary in Inglewood. I've worked at ISIV Middle School in Inglewood as well. Working in these inner cities, I find a reoccurring issue that I'm constantly talking to these kids about. And that's downgrading each other verbally according to their color of their skin, their hair, your teeth, your clothes, you this, you ugly, you this, you that. And it seems like, for me, that this is happening at home. Like because for me, I'm breaking up fights with second graders. Wow. That's like today I had 6 second graders that are talking about each other, about how they look and shoes and this and that. And so now I got to go in the middle and play referee with some second grade little girls that are bashing each other verbally about how each other looks. Right. And so for me, I want to talk to you a little bit about what were those experiences for you as a young Black girl in regards to self-love? How did you grow up? Or did you even grow up valuing the natural elements of you, your skin color, your lips, your nose, your eyes, your hair? How can you like how can we overcome that? And how did you experience that yourself? What is your experience in that growing up as a kid?
I was bullied when I was a kid, like verbally.
Yeah.
The dark skin, ugly. Yeah. This. I'm gonna tell you what saved me. Yeah. Was I was goofy.
There we go.
And I got along with everybody. Gotcha. So that was always like a savior. Like, like I would always be with the cool kids because it was like, yo, you funny, but you ugly.
Gotcha. Wow, they did you like that.
They did me like that.
Did you like that?
And I had people who was like, who had my back, but that's literally like what it was like.
Gotcha.
But because of that, in my household, like I had like my aunts and stuff kind of being like, yeah, girl, you're beautiful black skin. Right. But it didn't matter because peers are much... Like peers, what they say matters way more than like what my mom or my auntie gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if I'm going to school and they're telling me that I'm ugly, you're telling me that I'm pretty, then I think that you're lying.
Right. Because there we go.
All the kids at school, you know what I'm saying?
That's real.
And so for me, it wasn't a thing that like broke me down in the sense of like I didn't want to go to school or like I was going home crying. Like I wasn't a kid like that. Like I was just kind of like, yeah, they talking about me, but like, I just don't want to be friends with them. Like that's just kind of how it felt. But I didn't see the value. And it was a weird like in between because it was like I didn't see the value, but then I wasn't like broken down.
Gotcha.
So there was just like a weird like limbo that I was just in, like going to school every day and just like doing what I had to do and still having fun, but I wasn't even thinking about like beauty, like in a sense of like, oh, like my skin's beautiful. Like I wasn't doing that. And although my mom, something that I think a lot of like older black parents kind of dealt with was believing that I was being bullied, but being like, girl, you beautiful.
Yeah. You know you cute.
You know what I mean?
Don't let that get to you.
Yeah, like, girl, you know you beautiful. Like, they don't mean that. You're like, yo, but like my feelings are a little hurt by it. So I need something more than, girl, you know you beautiful. Because I don't.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Gotcha. And so I think that it's, and it was nothing that I feel like parents were doing wrong or right. It's just what they felt. Like, I know my baby is beautiful, but it's like, if I'm feeling like I'm not, then there's more words that have to be said to a child. This is a bigger conversation that has to be had, that you have to sit down and discuss. Right. And I talked to mom about it, now that I'm older, but getting through it, it was more so of like a switch of opinion. Yeah. So like once I got to high school, people thought I was pretty.
Wow.
And then it still didn't change anything because I never wanted to like change who I was. So it was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I think I'm pretty. I'm still going to be. I never changed who I was. Gotcha. Like I was always just like this goofy, whatever, active kind of girl. Like I said, I was like in a limbo. So when I got to high school, people were like, oh, you're pretty. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's tight.
Right.
At least I don't have to get bullied no more. All right, cool. So no on to the next,
Gotcha.
And so what it did for me was it helped me to be in the middle of every kind of person.
There we go.
And that's what I love so much even now. And at Poly, there's 10 million different type of people. There's like 5,000 kids at that school.
Wow.
And there's, every type of kid you could think of. And I could walk around that campus and be like, hey, to like everybody. You know what I mean? And that was always like my favorite because I'm just going to get along with everybody. And I understand what it feels like to be the person being stepped on.
Gotcha.
And now that you have put me in a position to be up, immediately I took a leadership role in that and was like, okay, cool. Well, I just want to be friends with everybody who nobody wants to be friends with.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, so that was kind of how I changed that narrative. But it was there was a lingering kind of like effect of like, oh, I don't feel pretty, I had those moments, but it just didn't, I wasn't the person to just let it sit. Yeah. Like, I've never been that person just kind of sitting
fall
there
into depression because somebody called you ugly.
Yeah. Like, it would be like, thoughts in the back of my head. Like, when I would be with my friends, I was like, okay, I'm probably the ugly one, but whatever, we still gonna have fun. And like, that's kind of how I felt.
Right.
And, even now you have your moments where you're just like, but I'm caring. I'd be like, whatever.
I can't stand it. I hate the light skin, dark skin shit. Especially with our sisters. Because I feel like we are all a representation of one family.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm really, really big on treating each other as such.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, I always tell people, be the change that you want to see in the world. Anybody who knows me, I speak to all of my brothers and sisters. I speak to everybody else. Yeah. But I make a huge emphasis on making sure that if I see a sister walk by me, or if I see a brother walk by me, especially because we have barriers as black men and mean mugging each other or feeling like we have to be on the defense by simply walking past each other or standing behind each other in line. So I feel like it's my obligation to be the change that I want to see and to be that model. But I see it way too often in touching on these kids, like damn, not like that. But touching on the conversation of these kids, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing too much of it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing too much of it because it's starting to feel as though they're going to grow up in a world to where that behavior and that language is normalized.
Becomes normal.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. Or boys are supposed to call me this, or boys are supposed to. So like today, I've had to break up a fight. These are kids, Jazz. Hear what I'm saying? I work at an elementary school. I'm breaking up fights with second, third, fourth graders over here. Like boys literally hitting girls with a closed fist in the face. Do you know what that do to you, boy, with a 9-year-old daughter at home? And I have to tell these little boys, bro, I almost just snatched you up, dog. That is a 3rd grade little girl. I have a daughter in the 3rd grade. Bro, y'all are over here like literally like going up to girls, slapping them, calling them the B word, calling them hoes, this and that.
And to me,
it's crazy.
That has to be coming, like you said, from home.
Yeah.
And something that subconsciously happens. To kind of go back a little bit on the image part of it, parents have a problem, and just everybody, with saying physical things, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you so chubby. Look at those chubby cheeks. Look at those chocolate skin.
I see what's going on.
You know what I mean? Like they have a really bad habit of that. And when you're young, you don't realize it. And it wasn't until I got older that I was like, no, you got to stop saying physical first.
There we go.
We have to stop approaching people, and well, not people, kids, and saying things about their physical. Like sometimes I used to talk to some of my kids, and they're like, I'm too heavy to be lifted up now, and you can't lift me. I'm like, how do you know that at 4?
Who told you?
Who's saying that to you? That you're too heavy to be held, or like, you know what I mean? Like you're drawing subconsciously. I know you're not trying to hurt your kid. I mean, I know there's parents who probably are.
Yeah, that's right.
But I know you're not trying to hurt your kid, but saying things, even approaching them about skin color first. You know what I mean? Like, such a pretty chocolate girl. People still tell me that to this day. Since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't look at it and be like, oh my God, how dare you? But I'm like, yo, if I was anybody else who had any type of a different spirit, then that could, like, that would just keep playing in my mind. Like, all I know is that I'm chocolate.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
And my value only lies there.
And the fact that I'm chocolate. So if I'm 4, if I'm 5, all I can think about is the fact that I'm chocolate. If I'm light skinned and then I'm seeing a dark skinned girl and all I'm seeing is my auntie or my whatever calling them chocolate, that's all I'm going to know as a light skinned girl to go to school and be like, yeah, you dark skinned.
Got you.
You shouldn't even know about, you know what I mean? Like, that's even stuff that kind of like, I mean, you can know. Like, I want my kids to know like they're brown or whatever the case is, but you're not going to sit here and, you know, base everything off of a physical feature. There's so many things to worry about, you know, and to think about, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think that that's something that has to stop. Like, and so, I mean, and it's not like the worst thing. Like, if a kid got chubby cheeks, it's cute. Okay, whatever. My niece has chubby cheeks. I love, you know, but I try not to say things that are like so physical, like, because it's deeper than that. Like, oh, you're so funny. You know what I mean? You make me laugh. You make auntie laugh.
You're the smartest little girl I've ever met in my life. You're so intelligent.
Exactly.
Wow, you're so wise. Exactly. Wow, you have a great humor.
You have a great humor. Wow, And so then when she goes to school, she's saying stuff like, I have a great humor.
Her value lies like, from the inside.
I'm smart.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Wow, that says a lot. With you being in the industry, I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Still centered around the same topic of color, because I think it's important. And I love talking to somebody who's transparent about it and who has experience in it on both spectrums. So for me, I think about you and I think, okay, Jasmine's doing a lot. Obviously, she's in the industry. People have a certain perception in this generation, especially with social media and everything, with judging people based off what's posted or what's shown. We have a habit of praising people's accomplishments while knowing nothing about the struggles and failures behind closed doors. Talk to me about some of the barriers, some of the things that you've had to deal with behind closed doors in the industry on the topic of colorism. Ooh, is that a thing? Yeah. Is that something that's serious?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
So colorism in the industry is also, I feel like it's a very fine line between preference and colorism, right? So if you're working for a rapper and a rapper is like, I only rock with like light skin, curly hair, that's ultimately what he's going to hire. Yeah. And what happens is we get caught into these auditions or direct bookings, whatever the case is. And then they're being like, oh, absolutely not. Like, and then my time is wasted because that's not like, you know, you didn't want no dark skin in the first place or whatever the case is.
Why was I even here?
Why was I even here? Yeah. You know what I mean? So you deal with that, like with rappers and stuff, and then you deal with it on a more positive note. And not even just rappers. I'm saying like it's everybody, you know, even women. Like women have that problem with being like, oh, I want a group of bad bitches behind me, and I want to be light skinned, or dark skinned. You know what I mean? Like, and something I've learned is to kind of look from both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So for so long, of course, like I'm dark skinned, so I'm dealing with all the problems of being dark skinned. Like I'm getting called this, I'm this. But then I'm looking at a perspective of like, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't booking for being dark skinned.
Got you.
Most conversations that I have with people, if an artist like calls me to talk about like their project, like before I do the video, it's like, yeah, I didn't want like, you know, the basic like mixed girl or like whatever. Like I wanted a dark skinned girl. I wanted a girl with short hair. Like you got tattoos, you pro-black. Like yeah, I want you in my video. Like it's legitimately like it's that. Like that's the focus, is the fact that you're not light skin or you're not mixed or you're not black. Like it's literally centered around the fact that I am dark skinned and I'm pro-black and I got short hair, and like it's just like boom. You know what I mean? Like this is the vision that I wanted, because I wanted a dark skinned girl.
Gotcha.
So, and then also in auditions, you're being split up by color and by ethnicity. Okay. So when we're in these auditions, they're going, can I have my white girls over here? Can I have my Mexican girls over here? Can I have my Asians over here? Can I have my blondes over here? Can I have my black girls? And can I have my mixed girls? Like, it's legitimately, you know, split up. And then you would ultimately audition in groups or whatever the case is. And then they're like, oh, can I put these girls together? Let me get Jaslyn. Let me get like this light-skinned girl. Let me get this white girl. Let me get this Asian girl. Put them in a group, see what they look like. Let me get 2 black girls right here. Like, everything is literally based off of look and color. And it's not so much of you can't book because you're not a certain look. It's just for certain people, you're not going to book because that's not what they want. That's not their preference. Gotcha. So if I'm looking at, then of course it's like things like height and stuff, you know, you're dealing with. Like, if Sierra is like 5'10", she ain't trying to have like, you know, really like no 5-foot dancer, because that's going to make her look 6'7". Gotcha. You know what I mean? Gotcha. If Lizzo has bigger dancers with her, not really like big, but like thick girls, or like she has tall girls with her. So that lets you know that there's a market for everybody. Gotcha. But it's just the fact that when it's not your market, you kind of have to be like played in a sense, like not played, but like you have to be like, we don't want you, like discarded. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's kind of cool because of the fact that there's an alley for everybody, and everything is based off of your look. But you are for sure, like I've been in auditions where I'm there, and then like the manager might come and be like, oh no, she out immediately. It's like, oh no. Like we went through a whole audition. And then the manager comes. Manager knows what their artist likes. And then the manager's like, oh, no. Take the dark note out. And that's crazy. Yeah, and then you look at, you know, she's not saying it out loud, but then you look at, like, who booked the job, right? And then you're
all y'all motherfuckers look the same. Somebody want to explain something to me up in here.
All y'all look the same. Wow. And sometimes it's, like, hair-based. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, well, we wanted the girls to have ponytails. So, Jocelyn, you're out because, you know, we don't want to pay for somebody to have a wig on. Gotcha. If we got another dark-skinned girl right here who has hair. Gotcha. You know what I mean? So it's also like stuff like that. But do
you ever feel like you take some of those shots personally? Well, I know you don't. They're not shots to some people, but I mean, look. Do you ever feel anything off of these adjustments that either managers or artists or preferences that they may have? Do you ever feel like, damn, like why not me?
Not so much why not me, but more so like I almost be like damn and leave it at that.
Just damn.
Like. All right.
Stand up in here like
you know,
that, huh?
Yeah, like that's the thing. If for real though, like it's kind of like because the thing is, I understand the industry.
Got you.
So
you can't take it personal when you
can't take it personal, and I have been affected by it. Yep. Like there's been one time that I shed tears about it when I saw the picture, and I was like, "Damn! Like you just really didn't want color." Got you. But also there was like 25% of me that was just like. But why I can't be mad at you for what you like.
That's your preference.
Gotcha. I can't be mad at you for that. Like, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, because if you got all dark-skinned girls, then...
They don't feel like that. Light-skinned girls don't feel like that. What y'all doing? Gotcha.
So...
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of just like...
It seems like an ongoing fight, right? And it feels like, in hearing you speak, it sounds like an industry to where you're constantly going through waves. Right?
Oh my God, that's the best thing ever.
Talk to me about the waves, whether it's coming from an emotional standpoint, whether there's people who meet you or experience you, and you may be operating in your normal state, but they take it as either aggression or they take it as either, whoa, look at that. I've personally experienced that before. Talk to me about those experiences, whether, it's been on tour, whether it's been, wherever. Talk to me a little bit about those experiences and what type of things do you do to overcome those obstacles? I want to talk about that as well, the overcoming aspect of it.
Okay. So you're for sure going through waves constantly. Yeah. Right? So many no's. So many no's. And then the no's are like whatever. Like we learn to go into auditions and say it's like a big class, right? Gotcha. I'm just taking a big class, and if I book it, then great. If I don't, whatever. But you hear so many no's, and at a certain point, like it sucks. And I feel like everybody has their moments where they go through like the no phase. Gotcha. Like you are hearing no's back to back. Yeah. Like. And these are like big people. Like I just had a conversation. One of my friends is a director, really big director. And he was like, yo, like I got like 4 like music videos shut in my face. Like, no, you know what I mean? After I just did big videos, like big ones, And he was like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I'm like at a standstill right now. And it's making me a little like, And I'm like, yeah, because you go through so many no's, but then the yeses are so extreme, rewarding. Like they're rewarding. Gotcha. Like when you meet, when you get one yes, it's for something that's huge. Yeah, what I mean? Like hearing no's, and then like I booked Sherman Showcase, the TV show I did. Like that was a whole TV show. Like
I saw my sister on the goddamn billboard of Los Angeles, Venice. I said, what the fuck is going on out here, man? Come on now. Jazzling out here like that.
Yo.
I saw you over there. What was it called again?
Sherman Showcase.
Sherman Showcase. I saw it.
But like getting that yes, right? Like that's huge. Yeah. And that's from hearing no's. Like hearing no's or just being called to be put on hold for something and then them releasing the hold. Like that's another thing that dancers deal with, which is another up and down. Like, okay, like got you on hold for Pharrell, and you're like, oh, cool, I'm so excited. And then they're like, oh, it's okay, sorry, the hold's been released. And you're like, great.
That's another damn,
right? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't even get mad. You're just like, damn. All right, well, cool. All right, we're just gonna wait for the next one. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. And it's kind of just like what it is. So yeah, you are going through waves like constantly. But something that's very important, which I'm glad you like kind of brought up, was knowing. So me getting into the industry altogether was something that was not planned. It was something that was not like, okay, all my life I want to be a dancer. Like I did not have that life. I still don't have that kind of life, right? Gotcha. Like I'm still just kind of like, okay, whatever's next is next, Gotcha. So hearing the no's and seeing the people, like seeing people react to their no's or to their yeses. Got you. Got people out here being trash. You know what I mean? Like not knowing how to have emotional regulation and celebrating celebrating like loss. You know what I mean? Like not understanding that a no is not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. Because it just leaves room for growth or for something better. Yeah. And understanding a yes does not mean that is your ticket to be comfortable. That's not your ticket to be cocky. That is not your ticket. That is not your ticket to treat others like you ain't never been there before. That is not your ticket to do that. And to me, I just kind of came up with this concept and I wrote it in my notes, but didn't elaborate on it. Being cocky is a form of comfortability. You know what I'm saying? So you being cocky means that you feel like you made it and you feel like you've hit your glass ceiling. You're trash for that. Yeah. There's no reason to be cocky. You need to be willing and be open to keep pushing forward and helping others get there with you. It's not, this platform is not yours. And this platform is not like, you didn't create this. That's right. You know what I mean? Right. And whatever you believe in, God, the universe, whatever the case is, it created it for you. Absolutely. And allowed you to be on a higher platform than most people. Because as artists, we are not the majority. We're the minority. It's not that many of us in the world. That's real. You know what I mean? And we forget that sometimes. Yeah. So knowing that, my whole mindset and working with kids and stuff was like, okay, well, like, how do I help other people? Like, how do I help other people get to where I am? If somebody hits me in my DMs and asks me a question, how do I become a dancer? I'm like, yo, here.
This how you do it.
Here the keys.
Yep. Here they go.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, our journeys ain't the same. So there's nothing I gotta be worried about with you. Facts. But you run into people who have that mentality of just like, we can't be here at the same time. Because if we're here at the same time, you might outshine me. You might, you know what I mean? And it's just like, yo, I ain't even thinking about that shit. I'm like, what time is lunch?
That
like,
part.
You know what I mean? Like,
come on now.
I'm on some whole other shit.
Yeah,
like, I'm not trying to be in this space with you. Like,
do you experience a lot of that?
All the time.
Yeah.
And most times it's like passive aggressive. It's like, oh, hey, girl. And they're like, hey. It's like the mom on Friday. Like, I'm gonna call you, girl. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that. Exactly. Like,
goddamn BrownRich over there. Y'all see that motherfucker over there?
And the thing is to even think that anybody was even thinking like that, because that's not where my first thought goes. But when I see interactions, I'm like, I know goddamn well you ain't sitting here looking at me like you afraid that I'm like a threat or some shit.
Come on.
You already know that's not what I stand for.
Yeah.
Now, if that's just something that you got to deal with on your own, you got to deal with that on your own.
That's real.
But when I come and give you a hug or when I say what's up, like I really mean that shit. You know what I mean? Like, so yes, you deal with that all the time. I mean, there's people that you know who don't want to see you in the same room as them because they were there first.
Got you. Wow.
I don't know what to tell you.
Real.
Like, we just here now.
Yeah, you got to deal with that on your own.
We here now.
Yeah, that's
like,
real.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's
you know
real.
what I mean? So, and those are things that I never, like, wasn't even thinking about until you made it awkward.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, wow, is this a thing?
Yeah.
Do you feel some type of way when I walk in the room? Do you feel threatened?
Right. And you could feel it.
You could
feel it.
Nah, you can feel it.
Yeah,
I can feel it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, at the end of the day, I think like once you kind of understand things too, like we all make mistakes. Like I've been in auditions that I booked that I forgot the whole goddamn dance.
Y'all blow my mind too, these dancers, man. I'll be looking at y'all whole
we
ass
blow our
court.
mind.
Y'all can be like, how the hell did y'all just learn that so damn fast?
We blow our own mind.
It's funny, Jazz, because my daughter is really, really big into dance, right? And she just, shout out my daughter Delilah. You gotta understand it. You know, she got royalty in her blood.
Period.
You gotta understand it. But what I'm saying is this. I took her to a dance class 2 weeks ago. And she was late. We was like 30 minutes late.
Dang.
Right? She the only black girl in her dance class, right?
Y'all can't be
so
right. Black
we was like,
time.
you know, it's 5 o'clock traffic. Nigga was, you know what I'm saying? That nigga probably was at Jack in the Box or something, fucking around, and got caught up in traffic. So what I'm saying is this. So we get there 30 minutes late. There's 30 minutes left in the thing, right? But she goes in and she learns the choreography like that. And I'm sitting back with the other parents and these Hispanic women are asking me, well, how did she learn that? I have no idea how she just learned that. So
got royalty inside my dick. That's why.
I'm going to start doing like that. That's why I ain't fucking around. Be visuals. We here right now. You got to understand it. But it blows my mind. And I see you moving. I see you shifting. This question is so pivotal. And they know when I say pivotal, it means it's pivotal.
Means something.
Jazz, it means something. But I see you. You in the industry, right? You doing your thing. There's perceptions. There's roller coasters. There's this, there's that. There's also another side to it that a lot of people will probably judge you based off, probably in a good way. And that's centered around finances. People may look at you and say, well, damn, you made it. You doing your thing. You big balling out here. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people chasing success because of that feeling or that perception of what success is. And I'm one to believe that that's completely false. I'm one to believe that success is centered around your fulfillment and your health, right? That's for me. Talk to me about what that process has looked like before the big checks and before the big jobs start coming in, because there's people that listen to this podcast that are looking for inspiration, that are in a season right now in their life to where the money ain't coming.
I'm about to give it to you.
It's holiday season right now and they can't buy gifts for their kids. It's holiday season right now and they behind on their rent. But they're doing what they love. They're doing what they feel called to do, but they're not necessarily seeing the finances from it right now. Talk to those people out there about what are some keys, what are some tools that have helped you along your journey, and just kind of like staying patient, and most importantly, having faith in your journey. Talk to me about what
great question.
You like that? You like how I set that up? That's a live, so you got to dunk that motherfucker.
It's a great question. You know what I'm saying? Great point. Yep. Listen here.
There we go.
Okay. So, okay. I'm not rich.
Yeah.
Okay. BrownRich is an internal thing.
Man, BrownRich. It's internal, big dog. Y'all tripping out there. Come on now.
No, but so there's sides to this. Yeah. One side is be smart with your money. right? Like, this is even before I get into the fact of it. Once you start getting money, you have to be smart with your money. Just because you get one check for $4,000 does not mean you go and buy you a $2,000 Louis bag. Okay?
Say that again. I ain't hear you.
Just because you get a check for $4,000.
They want to go buy a $25 bag.
Stupid. It's not smart. It's not smart at all. Because the thing is, we don't know when the next check is coming.
Yeah.
Right? We can believe that it's coming. We can believe that, but we don't know when it's coming.
Gotcha.
So you have to be smart with that. Yeah. But my journey in particular, I like to tell this story. Yeah. Before, and this was recent. Before Sherman Showcase, I had just got off tour with Snoop.
Yep.
And with some tours, like, well, with that one in particular, there's really no, like, not to even put it out there, but there's no per diem. There was no per diem on that job. And so when you're getting paid, you're kind of living off of, boom.
For those of y'all that don't know what a per diem is, you know what I'm saying? A company, the organization, the business, they provide you money by day to make sure you got your tangible shit, your food, your this, your that to get by per day.
Boom. And it goes on top of your check. So if you're getting paid like $500 and your per diem could be like $25, it could be $30, a day. It's supposed to be like a day.
Yeah.
So, so we're living off our money or whatever. So I came off like in a not that comfortable spot. And that can happen on tours simply not because I'm out shopping or anything, but because if my card note is like $465 and you're paying me $500 for whatever, like a show or whatever the case is, then that's that.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, I got some stuff in my account, but still it's just like, we have to live.
That's right.
So coming off of it, I wasn't in the greatest predicament. I think I came off of that tour like maybe like November, December, and we started shooting Sherman Showcase like at the end of January. So I went into overdraft for the first time since high school.
Come on.
High school. I'm 25, and I was 25 when I shot this. And I went into overdraft because my insurance came out or something like that. And I was like, oh, shit. All right, Got you. Mind you, it was the day that Sherman Showcase started. It was the day of the rehearsal and everything. So I drive, and this story is also intertwined with purpose, right? So I drive to Sherman Showcase, to our first rehearsal, whatever. I meet, one of the first people I met on set was Larry the Clown. Y'all know Larry. Larry is like one of the most, out here, like just, and a lot of different things. Look him up.
Come on now.
So I meet Larry. Larry's like, yo, I live in Watts. Can I ride with you like every day or whatever? So I'm like, oh, I live in Compton. Like, I live in Watts. I'm like, cool. I go, oh, no problem. Cool, right? Yeah. He like, sis, I'll put gas in your car.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, great. I don't have the money to do it. So, thank you, God. Like, wow, dope. Right? We're on set from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every night.
Jesus,
that's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Yeah. Food taken care of. So then I'm thinking, well, most jobs, you get paid like, after a month or whatever the case is. They was like, well, no, it's weekly.
Nice.
Boom. Okay. Set up, right?
Cool.
But the thing is, before that, I had nothing in my account. Negative. Like, absolutely, and I was negative.
Yeah.
And in this industry, you can legitimately go from having $4,000 to $5,000 in your account, had up to 10 G's in my account. Yeah. And then you don't get anything that big for a whole year. And then you're back at $600.
Got you.
And then your card note's $458.
That's why you said be smart with that money.
Be smart with that money.
Yeah.
Simply because of the fact that you don't know when it's coming. Now, when you're in like other industries like acting and stuff, and where your initial check is like $10,000, still be smart, but it's a different industry. Right. As a dancer, speaking to dancers, and as like most times like a rapper and shit like that, like you gotta be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in taxes, I ain't gonna say what job it was, but I had a job where the pay was like $3,500. When I got that check, it was literally $500 taxes.
Wow.
Took it out of here. It was two separate checks. One was $2,500. One was $3,300. The one of them was $900. And one of them was $500.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like, so overcoming the financial part, I know that it will come. And if I'm being honest, we're at a good place now, right? We're working and we're like able to save, and I had checks come from here and here. Before I left on tour, I did a couple jobs that, held me down. It's cool. Yep. But there are times when it's not cool, and nobody is trying to front, and don't let people front on you and pretend like everything is solid because it's not. Yeah. And I'm not out here trying to live like I'm rich or whatever the case is. I don't buy designer things, like, that, and that's just me. Like, I'm not really like into it. Like, I mean, if it's there, then it's there. Like, there's things that I like, but I'm just really not into it. I'm a simple person. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, in that sense, that's what works for me. Yeah. But I think finding finding what works for you and your life altogether, and not being so caught up in money, because money changes people. Money changes people's mindset. Money changes people's dreams.
You know what
money
they
changes
say?
People everything.
You know what they say? They say money doesn't change you. It makes you more of what you were already on. Ooh. So a lot of people who are assholes, a lot of people who are egotistical, a lot of people who are this, who are that, you was already that.
You was already that.
Money has now shined a bigger light on who you already was.
Exactly.
So that's real.
Exactly.
That's real, right?
And nobody can necessarily live off of just trying to do like the basic things or whatever the case is. Like you just have to be smart. Right. You have to be smart, and you have to know that nobody's out here living a perfect life. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like nobody's out here living a perfect life. It doesn't mean that we're poor and drinking out of a cup of water or whatever. It's just you want to be smart about it. You want to be smart about it for sure.
I love it. And I think that there's a certain mindset that's needed. I had a woman that hit me up today. Obviously, I ain't saying no names, but she hit me up in my DM. And I'm going to toss the question to you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to hit you with the question she asked me to answer for her. And I get a lot of DMs from a lot of people always hitting me up for advice. No problem. Shoot it to them. Mm-hmm. But your brain man King Q going to have to start charging for these consultations. Y'all going to have to understand this knowledge ain't free. So what I'm saying is this. I got Jazz in the building. Listen, she hit me up and she says, look, it's Christmas month. I'm 2 months behind on my rent. I'm stressed out. I can't find a good job, but I'm doing what I love and I'm discouraged. I want to quit. I want to go back to the comfort of having a 9-to-5 and doing what I was doing just for the money. Jeez. And I've been there. You've been following my journey for years. You've been there.
Yeah, I'm there.
And having to experience, and I tell people all the time, I'm extremely transparent because I know there's other people at this space where I'm currently at. Mm-hmm. And so I can't say, it actually annoys me, quite honestly, when people think that I got it like that because of platforms.
Same.
Are y'all serious?
Same.
Do y'all understand what goes behind this? Do y'all understand the sacrifices that go behind this? Do y'all understand what it feels like to do what you love, to do what you feel called to do, most importantly?
Right.
Because I do work I feel called to do. When you feel called to do something and you trust that voice and you actually go through it, that bread ain't coming in initially, big dog. I'm still in the season of God, where the bread at? Yeah. Because I've been putting 4 years in of sacrifice and really listening to that voice. But where the bread at? Why am I still struggling with my rent if I'm servicing people? Or why am I still struggling X, Y, and Z? And I tell you right now, I give people a lot of advice centered around my own personal experience, and that's all I can do.
That's all you can do.
And that's why I love this platform, because I allow other people to do the same. All I could do is give you what works for me, big dog. So when she sent me that, I showed it to my girl and I said, look, it's hard for me to even give advice to a person like this because my mindset is different. I don't stress over nothing, especially money.
Nothing.
I don't stress over money because you're telling me what you don't have and what you can't get. And I'm telling you I got it, even if I got it tangibly or not. Now we're talking about the power of manifestation. For me, I don't stress over it, but I'm willing to get uncomfortable in order to receive abundantly. I'm going to say that again. I don't stress over money, but I am willing to do what a lot of people are not willing to do, which is experience discomfort in order to be available to receive. And so I ask you this. She says, I'm going through all this stuff, but I feel discouraged, right? I want to quit. What would you say to a person like that and experiencing it? You know how she feels. I know how she feels. And there's other people that are going to listen to this podcast that's really right now, ears open, eyes open, waiting to hear this answer. And it's I can only give them so much. So what would you say to the people that's struggling to stay consistent with their dreams because the money's not coming in? Simply because of that.
Ooh, well, that is a hard question. Yeah. Because I'm not living in your shoes, and I don't know everything that you're feeling, everything that you may be feeling, everything that you may not be feeling. Yeah. But just like you said, we've gone through it. I've gone through it. I was a preschool teacher. That was a nice little check coming in, you know what I mean? All the time. And I felt even when I thought I was comfortable and I was able to do both, God pushed me out of it because it wasn't my calling. So I feel no matter if you are struggling with it mentally, I guarantee you, if you go back and you try to do a 9-to-5 to make money, you're going to end up in the same position, or you're going to end up in the same position simply because God is going to push you out and make you do what you need to be doing. Or if you're able to skip around that also, you're going to end up unhappy. And ultimately, you think you're unhappy now doing what you love. Try being unhappy and doing what you don't even want to do. You know what I mean? Like try that. You know what I mean? And try your options. You know what I mean? Try your options out here in the world. Like if you feel the need to go back, because I also don't push being if you have the option of getting yourself out of a situation, don't ignore it, but do a 9-to-5 that's going to allow you to do what you love also.
There we go.
Don't just go into a 9-to-5 and be like, okay, cool, I'm going to
I'm just here for the bread.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And don't work at 9-to-5 that's going to have you there from 8 in the morning to 12 in the morning.
There we go.
Don't do that to yourself. You have to be strategic and you have to be smart about what you're going to do. That's the life that we have chosen, and that's the life that we're going to have to live as artists and as anybody doing what we want to do and what we strive to do. The money is never just going to come right then and there. For the people who it does, congrats to you, my nigga. Yeah. But we ain't all living like that. You know what I mean? Like, that shit takes a while. Like, and so, but you have to stay faithful to yourself. Yeah. And like I was talking to Q a little bit earlier about listening to like Alan Watts, right? Like the need for permanence is our biggest demise as human beings. Yeah. Putting your happiness into something or attaching your happiness with something is going to be your demise. You have to find happiness being alone and being 2 months behind rent and being like all these things. You have to find happiness in that, so that when you get something, your happiness does not jump from there to that. Your happiness is still here, and then these things can add. But if they go away, because nothing is permanent. So if they leave, and if you lose your job, if you are 2 months behind rent, you'll still have happiness. Happiness will carry you much further than just having $1 million in your account. Imagine having $1 million and being unhappy. Imagine having $1 million and committing suicide because you're that unhappy.
That's what I say.
Now what you gonna do with it?
Imagine having $1 million and you unhealthy. You in a hospital, in and out every week.
What's the point? You got the best care. Good for you. But guess what? It don't matter. Yeah. So detach from those things. And I know this is a very much, easier said than done type of situation. Yeah. I have been through it. Q has been through it. Like a lot of artists have been through this shit. Like, and we still go through. Like I have moments where, like I said, I got $10,000. I got $5,000 in my account. Now I got $800 in my account. Now I got 4. Now I got 3. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it is what it is. But I don't attach. Not to say that, this is what the young lady is doing or whatever. But I don't attach my happiness with things.
There we go.
And I think that is a lot of the issue with a lot of people in this industry, to be honest. And that is a lot of the reason why you can't think beyond how much money you have in your account or how much money is coming in. You can't think beyond it because that's where your happiness is lying. It cannot do that. You have to separate that. Yeah. And you have to have your happiness in here. Yeah. You got to, like you said, you got to be healthy. You got to be happy. You really have to be happy. Yeah. It will change everything. Yeah. I walk onto these sets and energy is everything. I get called from people who I never even made contact with on set because they saw me smiling from a mile away. I walked on Sherman Showcase not looking like what I was going through. My account was negative. I did not know. I thought my first check for Sherman Showcase was going to come in months. Yeah. I had no clue. I was like, okay, shit. Well, we overdrive, but this is great. I booked this. I booked a TV show. Oh, sorry, the camera, my bad. But I booked a TV show. This is dope as fuck.
Yep.
And then things just come.
I feel like people always have, even when you're going through all those bad things, and I love the fact that you just said that, because even though we can put this whole list of bad shit that we're going through, I think the power of manifestation lies in gratitude. And you have to be grounded in your gratitude for what you do have. I know what you don't have. I know you're struggling.
And
we're going through something, but I promise to God, my happiness is dependent on my ability to be grounded in my gratitude every day. I am choosing to look at the things that I do have, even when I don't have my rent, even when I don't have gas for my car. I'm gonna look at 15 things that I do have, instead of just looking at one and allowing my whole day to be fucked up off of one thing that I don't have. And I think another thing is very important. I posted about it today, Jaz, aka BrownRich. You gotta understand she's in the building. You know, I'm talking about that means the bomb is about to be dropped up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it, BG, we're gonna drop a bomb right here. Boom! We're gonna drop a bomb right here. Boom! You know that's
period.
Bomb
Okay, sorry. I couldn't wait to do that.
We had to do that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure that edit is in there right where it needs to be. But I posted about this today, and this will probably be the last thing I'm gonna talk about because it's very important and we gotta drive it home. I posted today, Jaz, and I said, your 2020 is going to look exactly like your 2019 unless you are willing to adjust your fucked up habits. Yep. People don't want to address their bad habits, but they want a different outcome for their reality. So people want their lives to change, but they don't want to change nothing. So you can't expect your life to change if you have habits that you've been doing for the past 10 years that have you in a certain position and in a state, whether that's financially, whether that's relationship wise, whether that's here, whether that's there, whether that's, if you're not willing to make needed and necessary adjustments in obtaining discipline with yourself, then there's no way God is about to allow you to be put in a position to manage people. And a lot of people want to be influencers with their craft and service other people, but you can't even service yourself enough to be able to feel like you have the happiness without tangible things. And a lot of people are attaching their happiness, like you said, to having things because they're not happy with who they are at home. So talk to the people. We're going to drive it home right here. I say, you're not going to have a different 2020. Your 2020 is going to look just like your 2019 unless you're willing to change some habits. Talk to me about what some habits are for you that you found yourself having to adjust. And because you have a certain work ethic. There's no way you could be up at a damn rehearsal from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. without having the mindset of like, I'm going to work for mom. And it's a lot of people that don't want to do the work, but they want the reward. So talk to the people that want the reward, that don't want the work. Talk about the importance of work ethic and also talk about the importance of, how did I word it? What was I talking about?
So basically, work ethic and then just habits.
Habits. That's right. Habits. So, work ethic and habits.
Okay, so work ethic wise, super quick. I feel like in the industry, I was telling you earlier that I didn't come into the industry like, I want to be a professional dancer. Like, it just happened. So at some point, I had to switch my mindset from going with the flow of just being like, whatever happens, happens. Even though I still do feel that way, I'm not trying to force anything, but I had to go from that to putting an actual work ethic in. I had to go switch into being like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to purposely switch my Instagram so that I only do professional pictures. So that if a casting director comes on my page, they're not seeing selfies. They're not seeing memes. They're not seeing that type of stuff. They're seeing me. What they need to see to book me. You know what I mean? I want you to look at the first page and be like, boom, this is Jocelyn. This is what she do. Boom, I'm trying to book her. You know what I mean? Right. So that was, I attach work ethic with purpose. You know what I mean? Like when you find your purpose and like what you want to do, then your work ethic will follow because you have to have a work ethic in order to push your purpose.
There we go.
So yes, we do. We work hard. And sometimes it's really, really hard. Like, it's hard to be somewhere for that long. It's hard to be in the rehearsal and focus and learning, 7 dances in one day. That's hard. Yeah. And your mind is going in these different places, but work ethic, wanting to, having your own vision to be like, I'm not about to look crazy on stage. Right. That's on you. That's your work ethic. Right. Like, I'm not about to do this. If this artist is putting in all this work, I'm not trying to be the one to look crazy behind you. You didn't put in all this work as an artist. Like, I'm not trying to look crazy behind you.
Facts.
I'm not trying to get on screen and forget my lines. Yeah. I'm not trying to do that.
That's real.
You know what I mean? Like, put the work in. Like, it's work. Like, nothing comes easy. Like, even down to the nitty gritty of like, when you're in a rehearsal, marking things, you shouldn't be marking anything. You should be, if you're going to run the dance, then you need to at least run it to where your limbs are doing things full out so that when you get on stage, you will not forget your dance. Gotcha. That is putting work ethic in. You don't get to just go through stuff like in 1 and 2 and 3. No, you're not going to remember anything. Yeah. You're going to fuck up. Like, it has to be a certain work ethic that goes behind it. And like I said, it's all purpose driven.
Got you.
And then as far as habits, personal habits push my talent, I don't want to say talent habits, but like my professional habits, right? So once I kind of came into a realization of like calming down about certain things and like, you know, always freaking out about things, even on the internal standpoint. Like, I don't like the way she looked at me. I don't like the way this. I don't like the way they said this to me. Like, learning how to kind of like come to a zen and like get through things, like, and not getting over things.
Yes, ma'am.
Or, you know, pushing past things, getting past it, working on getting through it. That way when it's calming me down internally so that I'm able to handle things like in an external way, but it's coming from an internal aspect and, you know what I mean, from an internal place. And so just things like that, or just like that, and then continuing to make sure that I'm doing things for purpose. Like, just because I know that mentally does not mean that that's something I just get to forget.
I love it.
You know what I mean? It has to stay in my frontal lobe here, so that I'm able to continue to push things and make sure that I know my purpose. If I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, then I have to figure that out. That is something that I already knew, but I have to keep it there and keep it in the front of my mind so that I don't forget it and don't get comfortable.
Right.
Comfortability is something that I never want to be a part of.
Yeah.
I want to be comfortable in places, but I don't want to have comfortability to where my life's centered around comfortability. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to keep you, if this is a wall, you're going to be here. Bro, we out of here. You know what I mean? Like, there is no ceiling.
That's real.
And if you never get comfortable, there will never be a ceiling for you.
Yeah.
You have to stay uncomfortable, because then that's when you know inside of you that there's more for you.
And it's bringing the best out of you. Discomfort brings the absolute best out of you.
So and you got to keep people in your circle. Like, you know, be honest, keep people in your circle who are going to really have your back. That is important. Yeah. Understanding the true ideal of having like good friends. Yeah. And if you're dating, having someone that's positive in your life, having someone that actually gets to know you, actually someone who wants to actually like love these things about you, but you got to be able to do that shit for yourself first.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And not getting comfortable and attached to permanence once again, and thinking that people are going to constantly be there and holding you. You got to be able to do it for yourself and just know that you have people there. I forgot this girl's name that I just watched her TED Talk, but she had like 5 people who you should have in your life, and it was like a friend, a peer, a cheerleader, a mentor, and I forget the last one.
A chiropractor. Fuck it.
A chiropractor. Hey, yo, I'm gonna send it to you, and I'll put her name in there. But
that's
when
real
she
though.
said, when she said it at first, I was like, okay, and then when she started to kind of like explain it, right, and I was just like, damn, like that's real. Like, you really need all these different type of people in your life to make sure that you're at least keeping a bird's eye view of things, you know? So,
I love it.
Just, you know, pushing the good habits, pushing the internal happiness.
I love
it.
You
know?
I could hear Jazz talk all goddamn day.
Oh, sure.
You know, but we got to go. And I say this right now. The running theme of this podcast has been centered around purpose. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Everything that you say, you always come back to purpose. Mm-hmm. And for me, I always talk about people about having the importance of knowing your purpose. Mm-hmm. Nipsey Hussle said, find your purpose or you wasting the air. Fuck it though, y'all niggas scared. You have to be able to find what you were sent down to this earth to do. Mm-hmm. What were you sent here to do? And a lot of us get into things we're passionate about, which we didn't get a chance to really touch on the way we wanted to. Mm-hmm. Things we passionate about or things that we're good at that we get caught up into that we are not necessarily, it's not necessarily attached to our purpose, right? So dreams and purpose are 2 different things. So we got to have you back. We got to have you back because we have so much more. We got to have part 2 of this because it's so pivotal. Mm-hmm. And I told you when I say pivotal, that means it's pivotal.
It means something.
You know what I'm saying? But what I like to do, what we like to do here, be visuals. You got to understand. I got to shout out my main man, be visuals all the time. You know, I'll be visuals. It ain't possible. And then my queen, Simone, you know, she also part of the team. You all know it's got me. I do what I do. KQ. We had to go. And then my sister, Carquise, in the back. You know, we got to shout out Carquise. That's big sis. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand it. So look. Every episode, we like to end off with allowing our guests to look at this camera right here, which you've been doing for the whole episode, which I actually like, might I add. Because, you know, you're talking straight to the people. I get that. Period. I get that. And show them the waves one more time because, you know, she want to show out. She want to show out a little bit.
Oh, these
things? I said, those things? You know what I'm saying? Go on, Jaz, aka BrownRich. You gotta understand it. Look at that camera right there, and you're gonna end them off with what we like to call here an unselfish message, which is your ending message that overall you want that audience to remember either from this interview or things that you've talked about or what you even stand for. What is your overall quick 30-second message to the people in that camera right there?
This is deep.
Ain't that something?
Damn.
You gotta stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? We here in the trenches.
Ooh, okay. My unselfish message. I feel like it's to just make sure that you find happiness in you and not in things, and don't attach it to things, because that will be your ultimate demise in life. Find your happiness and live in it and be okay with it and be okay with like doing what the fuck you want to do and making sure that it makes you happy. You know what I mean? Don't get too comfortable. No, I'm just listening to stuff. Don't be too comfortable. Know there's always room to grow. Be open to learn. Be open to love. Like for real. And just like continue to just be great. Like it doesn't matter. Just be great. Be great. Be great. You are great. You're already great. You just got to believe it. For real.
That's Jaz, aka BrownRich. I gotta say, B Visuals, this episode right here, I gotta say, just from an energy perspective, because they know I'm big on energy, Jaz. From an energy perspective, this is probably the funnest episode that I've had. You know what I'm saying? I just found myself in this high, like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's the energy, I don't know if it's the smile, I don't know if it's the vibe, but there's something about you, Jaz, that just brings the excitement out your boy. And I appreciate you. You are extremely inspiring. You drop so many jewels and so many gems. We want to send you off with love and let you know to keep doing what you're doing. Keep following your intuition, following your heart. If one thing is not for you and your intuition is saying it's time to switch, listen to that. Keep going. You're inspiring a lot of people out here. And guess what? We always watching. Yeah. All right. So look, man, Unselfish Behavior Podcast. That is a wrap for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, we're going to see you when we motherfucking see you. We out. Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, King Q. If you like that episode, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, and leave a comment. And also, if you want to follow the movement, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Unselfish Behavior Podcast. And as you know, we out.